You either want to be a millionaire or you just want to live a comfortable life. And whatever way you try to put it, you just want to be successful. I understand that feeling. I'm sure you probably understand that feeling. I'm pretty sure everybody on this planet understands that feeling. But if you want to find success, don't just go on the internet and look up a various amount of side hustles. Now, of course, you can do it, and you might find success doing it. But I feel like God will convict you eventually. And I know that because I've been convicted as well. That's why I started this entire YouTube channel. So today, I'm going to try to teach you and show you exactly what happens when you try to find that success without God. And of course, drop shipping isn't mentioned in the Bible, content creation isn't mentioned, but something very similar is mentioned, and I hope you learn something from it. So we're going to go to Genesis chapter 11 and talk about the Tower of Babel. We're going to talk about that. But before we even get into the Bible, I wanted to let you know that it's not entirely wrong for you to want that success. I know what people say about money as it relates to Christians, but I want to let you know that God is not wanting you to be dead broke. He doesn't even just want you to live a modest life because that's what all Christians should do. Some people are deserving of millions of dollars, billions of dollars. Some Christians are deserving of that amount of success. But the love of money, that's always going to ruin you. If you start making money your idol, if you start making money the very reason that you're working, the very reason that you're doing anything in your life, then no duh, of course, God isn't going to want you to have that success. But like I said, there are a lot of Christians that do deserve to be blessed with that money that they want. And this video is for them. So let me first read out this chapter. And I'm not going to read everything. If you want to read the full thing, then you can pull out your Bible and read as well. After they moved to Shinar, they said to each other, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used bricks instead of stone and tar for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens so that we may make a name for ourselves." But then God came down and saw what they were doing and said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing that they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so they do not understand each other." So then the Lord scattered them from there all over the earth, and they stopped building the city. And a very select few of you guys might already understand how this story might relate to you. But for the 99% of people, they're probably thinking, what in the world does this story have to do with me winning $1 million? It's all about foundation, intention, and pride. These people were very prideful, and so their intentions were very flawed, and so they did not have a proper foundation to build what they were trying to build on. The symbolism in this story is very reflective of what we do in our day-to-day lives. And God, of course, did that on purpose. The first thing they said to each other was, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used bricks instead of stone. God was very selective with what he wanted to say here. The fact that he said they used bricks instead of stone might seem like a throwaway fact that we didn't really need to know. But this is really reflective of what we do every single day. Stone is not man-made. Stone is entirely made by God. It's a very divine material. And every single time somebody builds with stone, it's reflective of how strong that foundation is because they're using the tools and they're using the efforts that God gives them. But the first thing that they say to each other is, "Let's make bricks." They're building this tower that they want to reach the heavens with. They're building this tower with man-made material. So when God intentionally states that they use bricks instead of stone, he's not just saying, "Oh, these architects love bricks more than they love stones." No, he's saying that they're trying to build something to the heavens without me. They're trying to do it based off of man-made materials and man-made ideologies. And this is really just furthering that pride that people have. And even the use of the dialect where they say, "Let's do this, let us do this, we need to do this, we should do this." It shows that they're trying to do this with man's ideology. They're not coming to God about, "Hey, how can I build this tower? How can we do this? How can we empower you through the things that we're building?" No, they're coming to each other. They're working with each other. They're building materials for each other so they can reach their man-made version of heaven. It's disrespectful and it's prideful. And we do it every single day. Their entire end goal is that they wanted to reach heaven. That was their idea of success. So now I want you to think about what your idea of success is in the ways that you're trying to reach that as well. When you can really get down to the roots of the issues, you're understanding that we want success not because we actually want the $1 million, but because we want an identity. We want a purpose. We want happiness. We want fulfillment. That is our idea of success. And if there's one thing that you guys should take from this channel, it's that none of those things will happen through these man-made concepts. Fulfillment, success, happiness, that stuff comes from God. And the more that we're trying to use these man-made concepts, such as content creation, such as drop shipping, such as starting a business, all of these things, the more that we utilize these man-made concepts instead of coming directly to God and asking him to help us find that fulfillment, to help us find that happiness, to help us make $1 million, we are doing exactly what these people are doing, building our foundation, building our tower out of these man-made concepts, out of brick, honestly. We are using brick when we should be using stone. and God is convicting us for it. And I'm not saying that any of those catalysts to success, such as building a business or content creation or drop shipping, I keep using those examples, but that's all I can think of right now. But I'm not saying that any of those things can't be through God, because it can be. But if your foundation is built off of bricks, He can't use those things to elevate your life. If you come to God, He will give you the stones, and on top of those stones, you can create content. You can create a business. You can do whatever you want to do through God, though. That's what I'm saying, is the intention behind it. What is your intention for success? What does it mean to you to find success? When you can actually understand those things and then articulate them to God and then express to God that you want to know what's going to give you fulfillment, that you want a purpose, that you want an identity. If you come to God with those things, He will give you the stones. He will direct you. He will give you the path. He will help you with whatever you want help with. And I want to go back to that idea of just chasing success for fulfillment and happiness and purpose. If I just said that those things come directly from God, and we're trying to make $1 million so we can replicate that fulfillment, so we can feel that success, that just means that we're trying to replace God. And that's when money becomes an idol to you. These people are not trying to build a tower so they can finally reach heaven and talk to God. No, they're trying to build the tower so they can replace God. They're doing it without God, and they're doing it without the Lord's permission. And so that just means that they're trying to replace the things that He can provide for them. And so they're trying to replace God. They want to reach their own heaven. They don't want to reach the actual heavens with God. They want to build something so tall that they reach their own idea of what heaven looks like. The same way that we want to work so hard, we want to make so much money, we want to find so much success so we can replicate the type of fulfillment and the type of purpose that we're going to get from God. And look, I want to share this. The entire reason I started this channel is because God convicted me. I think I've mentioned that before in this video, but I was so adamant on building my own idea of success. I wanted to find fulfillment. I wanted to work hard so I can provide for myself, for my family, for other people. I wanted to work hard. I wanted to create a purpose for myself. And then God came down and said, you can either do this with me or without me. And that was God looking at me and saying, you're building these things with bricks. I understand you want the bricks, and the bricks are going to help you elevate a little bit. But if you use these stones, nothing's going to break the stone. Nothing can take this stone down. This is a divine material. I'm helping you with this. I would definitely recommend you take the stones. And it's very, very, very important that you learn this lesson, because it's a very different day and age. The devil has got a hand on every single industry on the planet. The devil has his hand on everything that we think can elevate our lives. And unfortunately, this time we don't have the blessing. We don't have the privilege to have God come down here and just fix it for us. Because now we have a choice. You can either make it with bricks or you can make it with stone. And I'm going to tell you right now, you can find success with the bricks, but you'll never find a divine success with the bricks. You're either doing it with God or you're not doing it with God. If you're not doing it with God, you're worshiping the enemy. You have a choice that you can make. If you're watching this video, I know the things that you can do. I know the potential that you might have. You have got a choice to make. You can make $1 million without God. You can find this idea of whatever success is to you without God. But do you really want to do that knowing what you're sacrificing? You're sacrificing a divine relationship. You're sacrificing heaven. You're sacrificing a relationship with God. So it's not always easy to just sacrifice the clarity and the understanding of using bricks, of using things that you understand. It's always going to be hard and confusing when you take the stones that God has given you. You're trying to find a way to make sure that these things go together, trying to find a way to make success with all of this. But in the end, it's always going to be worth it. It's always worth it if you're doing it with God. And another thing, I want to talk about the punishment that they got from God. When they started doing all of that, when they started coming together, being unified so they can build this tower to reach the heavens, God comes down and scatters them across the world and changes their languages so they couldn't understand each other. And He doesn't do this out of anger. He doesn't do this because He's punishing them, because He's upset, because He's emotional. He's doing this to protect them. If they were unified like that, they can do anything. And they can do anything to defy God. They defy God so they can replace Him. And in the punishment that God gives them, it's still protection. He's still just looking out for us. And I'm thinking about this quote that I heard from somewhere, where somebody said that sometimes people aren't getting that success from God because God knows that if they receive that success that they've been praying for, they're going to leave Him. If you truly want success, you better fix your intentions. Because if your intentions are flawed, if you're building it with bricks, God's not going to give it to you because God loves you. He doesn't want you to sacrifice that relationship just so you can make some money. But I hope you guys got some value out of this video. I appreciate you guys for watching. See y'all next time. Peace out.